Host here, the LA probate expert with my good friend, Patricia Castillo. Say hi, Patricia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our call today.
Hold on 1 second. Let me put you back in. There you go. There you go. One more time. Say hi, Patricia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to our call today.
Good. And this is our Wednesday afternoon home buying seminar. We get together every Wednesday to talk about what it takes to buy a home in today's market in California, across the country, where people come out from all over the country, where vendors come in and help us explain how to be successful in buying a house. Now, one of the key questions I'm sure everybody's asking today is, what is up with interest rates? Patricia, what's up with interest rates?
Right. Well, as we know, they're increasing, and I think they're still slated to go just a bit higher. But I wouldn't let that distract you from, continuing your quest and buying a home, because it's still a good time to buy regardless of the rates, because ultimately you're going to basically purchase what you can afford. And it's better to buy something that you will eventually own and could pass on to your family.
Well, I think it's important to calculate the payment that's available to you today. And if you can afford it, great. And if you can't, maybe you need to save more money or cut some expenses or find some other strategy.
Right.
I think a lot of people looking at this recent run-up saying maybe we should get an adjustable loan that is fixed for 5 or 7 or 10 years, where they do maybe refinance along the way and save a little bit. But whatever it is, the numbers need to work. And if the numbers work, it's still a good time to buy. How many buyers last year were you showing property to that couldn't afford to buy a property?
Well, I mean, most of my buyers did qualify.
I'm sorry, I asked the wrong question. How many buyers were you showing property last year that could afford to qualify, that couldn't get their offer accepted?
Yeah, that was a challenge. Not so much that they didn't qualify. It was that they couldn't get their offer accepted because of the competitiveness with so many buyers looking at the same property, and we'd get into a multiple offer scenario.
Right. And go back in time, how many buyers, let's say 6 months ago, a year ago, made offers that if it gone up another 5%, they'd be thrilled to have got that property 6 months or a year ago at that price, at that mortgage rate, right?
Right, absolutely. And now if you're one of those buyers that waited because you thought the market was going to change this year, now you're paying a higher cost for probably the same property, or the floor plan you would have bought last year.
Right.
So it's always a good time to just look at your budget. And as soon as I tell my clients, as soon as you start thinking about buying a home, you have to get committed to that process. And that usually starts with making some adjustments to your budget and scaling back on your spending and keeping the focus on what it is that you are trying to accomplish. If you're trying to accomplish purchasing a home, then that should be the focus, is stay committed to your goal of buying a home.
Right. And I think it really gets down to, if it makes sense to buy, if it's a good decision to buy, then do it. Execute the plan. If it's not a good idea to buy, then don't. But I think where people get caught is in the middle. They know it, they should, or they want to buy property, but they don't really go all in, and they get kind of cut short. Like I said, people who didn't have the confidence 6 months ago, where you are really kicking themselves that the property went up. In some cases, I have clients who had they bought a year ago, they would have made more money on their property just sitting in the house making payments than they earned in their income for the year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the price appreciation has been, historical. I mean, I've lived in my home for almost 7 years, and it's already doubled from what I purchased my home at.
What do you think the changes from a year ago to today?
From a year ago, I would say at least 200,000.
There you go. You made more money just sitting in your house sleeping. You could have sat on your couch.
Just occupying it.
You could have literally sat on your couch, ate bonbons, and watched Oprah Winfrey reruns and made more money than most people on this call.
Yeah, absolutely.
After taxes, you need to get taxed on that money. That just went right to your bottom line. And so that's the power of real estate. That's the power of real estate. And I think why we are so anxious that if you can afford it. Now, nobody wants you to buy a house you can't afford. But if you can afford it, get a plan together, get with your lender, get qualified, know what you can afford, move decisively, work with a great realtor, Patricia, work with a great realtor, and execute the plan, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, because of the prices, and the appreciation that we've seen over the last year, now there's this opportunity for first-time home buyers. That is the forgivable equity builder loan. And this is offered by CalHAFA. So, that's something to look into as well. You may qualify for a forgivable equity builder loan, which means that they will basically give you the 10% of the purchase price of a home, and it's a second loan. So basically that's something that you don't pay. And if you stay in the home for 5 years, then it's forgivable. So that's a very attractive first-time home buyer loan to look into as well.
Well, and 6 months or a year ago, a seller wouldn't even consider that offer. It'd be considered too much trouble to deal with the second loan, correct? Most likely.
Right.
And so I think that's the opportunity is we can't go back in time and fix the price. We can't go back in time and fix the mortgage. But if you still can afford a house, and if it makes sense financially for you, we can get financing in place that's appropriate for you, like a silent second, where you can perhaps save 10% of the down payment money. That's really the money you might have made or might have saved had you bought a year ago. You're kind of going back in time if you can qualify for that. So, Patricia, if somebody's interested in that program, what's the step? Is there they contact you and you put them together with a lender, or how do they get involved?
Yes. So they can contact me because CalHAFA is not a direct lender. They work with approved lenders to secure the financing for buyers. Right. So you'll need the regular documentation like pay stubs, bank statements, employment history, prior tax returns. And so if anybody's interested in that, I can definitely point them in the right direction to get started with that application.
But that said, it's still challenging in that there's more paperwork than normal, right? Twice as much paperwork, 2 loans in essence to get done. Mm-hmm. And so, yet if you prepare and get done ahead of time, it's something you can do. You can save money. And it's also a way that you can maybe go back in time and get some of that equity. Now, just for being on the call, this call is meant to be participative. So, and I will tell you, the more money you make in life, or the more you participate in life, the more money you make, the more wealth you get, and more income. So if you have questions, turn on your camera, unmute yourself, raise your hand, put it in the chat box. If you're watching this live on live stream, either YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and put a question in the chat box. I do my best to catch you there. And we'd love to respond if we can help you with questions. It's designed to help you achieve your goal of buying your next house. There's Annabelle Pacheco. How you doing, Annabelle?
Hello.
One of our good
Welcome
friends.
to the call.
Thank you. I finally made it.
Yay.
Like Zoom call after Zoom call after Zoom call. So it worked out.
Annabelle Pacheco is one of the top realtors in the marketplace and a big time investor investing in multifamily and a hotel here in Southern California, and mother of 3 outstanding children and wife to an amazing husband.
Are you
she gets 5 stars.
That's you. That's you, Annabelle. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so do we have any questions? I know I right at that moment jumped in. I'm so excited to see Annabelle. She's been a good friend for a long time. But do we have any questions? Anybody have anything they want to ask us that's on the call?
Yeah, and for those of you on the call, I did upload in the chat the link to the CalHAFA website if you're interested in reading more about the forgivable equity builder loan.
And it's an equity builder. It's not a builder loan, meaning can that be for any resale house?
Could that be for what, Bill?
Any home? Does it have to be a brand? It's not a builder home. It's
for some reason it's called forgivable equity builder loan. That's the name of it.
Right.
But no, it's not for new construction.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. And we have lenders we work with that will help you with that process and duplicate the paperwork and make it available for you. And again, there's a chance to kind of catch back some of the equity. Again, as a listing agent, Annabelle, a year ago, if you gotten offers and one was a regular conventional loan, one was cash, let's just say conventional loan. Let's even just say a regular FHA loan. You had 2 offers. One's FHA, one's FHA with a silent second program. Would you even consider, if the 2 are the same price, consider the silent second? All things equal?
Sorry. I think I would have to do a little background check on the agent representing that buyer.
Same agent, let's say. The only two differences, one's a regular FHA loan, and one's with a silent second. Which one are you going to accept?
No. I'm like, I mean, at the end of the day, my clients care about the bottom line. It's not going to cost them any more money. I mean, and they're going to net the same amount of money, and they're going to give an opportunity to someone that's going to come in on that program. It just depends. It really depends on the client.
I remember a year ago how busy lenders were. They
Oh,
were doing these programs.
a year ago.
Correct. A year ago.
No.
6
You have
months
to
ago.
Forget it. No, not even a month ago.
You even thought about it. You would have just said next.
Yes.
You tell your seller this is never going to happen. The lenders are too busy to answer the phone. The
Yes.
last thing they're going to do is a seconds of paper, right?
Yes. I mean,
Now, I don't know about you, but today I've gotten called by 3 or 4 different lenders, like all kinds of emails, invitations. I'm like the lender's best friend all of a sudden, where for years they're busy just refinancing their clients over and over
Right.
again. Today they're looking to help people get in houses, right?
yeah.
So today, if you're a listing agent, would you consider a buyer with a silent second? I think the answer is yes, we would.
Today, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the opportunity. So I think Patricia's on the right track, that we got to take a look at these programs, dig a little deeper, sharpen our pencil, work a little harder,
Right.
and help our customers get the results they want.
Yes, I agree.
Great. Okay, so you agree with me. That's good news.
We're glad that Annabelle agrees with you, Bill.
Yeah, I don't really care that much. If she did, that would be
I
her-
know
her
you
mistake.
don't.
Her mistake. Okay, Rosa Elgato, you're there enjoying watching and quietly. Jump in here. How can we help you today? What are you working on?
Hi,
Hi.
Hi, Rosie.
what am I working on?
Jen, how can we help you?
I'm working on doctor loans.
On what loans?
Doctor loans. Can you hear me?
Doctor loans. So she got the bougie stuff. We're here talking about equity builder loans for first-time buyers trying to build some property, and you're working on doctor loans, helping doctors buy more property.
Hey, they're first-time buyers as well.
Yeah, sure. Some heart surgeon buying a $5 million house in La Jolla.
No, you'll be surprised. It's for residents that are going to graduate in 6 months and they need to buy a home.
Nice. And so
Yeah.
you have special programs. What is it? What's the doctor loan do? What benefit is it for a doctor?
So because they already have too much student debt, we are doing a 5% down payment versus 10%.
Boom.
With 10%, they actually have no mortgage insurance up to $1 million. With 5% down, there's going to be a little bit of mortgage insurance added to the product, but we're trying to make it affordable for them because we do have to count 1% of their deferment student loans.
Got it. So the bank's underwriting and telling a doctor you can afford this. The doctor's saying, I got student loans. I'm worried about it. I've been living on the cheap, but here's your chance to buy a house. In times of inflation, we know everything goes up in price. Everything's
Mhm.
going up in price, including a house. And so the surest way to take advantage of that, protect yourself, is by buying a property. And here the bank, U.S. Bank, right, is
US Bank.
offering you a loan with 5% down if you're a doctor. If you're a regular citizen, you can get in with 3.5% down an FHA loan. Rosie, do you do the silent second program, the equity builder that Patricia was talking about? Is that a program that you guys offer as well?
No, we do not. And I think that's fantastic that she is finding research for just different type of clients that we have out there. You know, we just can't focus on one product. And I think that's amazing.
Just curious, since you're a lender, 6 months ago or a year ago, how busy were you with refinances and the phone ring off the hook versus now? What's the volume of difference in your business maybe even in your department? What's the volume look like the difference?
Actually, I didn't do that many refinances. I'm probably one of the loan officers that didn't get that many calls on refinance. It was more purchase for me. It's always been purchase focused for me.
Got it. How about your office overall?
Yes, a lot of them are hurting. They're hurting because they just focused on refinance. It was easier. I honestly, for me, it's helping new customers become homeowners. So my focus was always driven on purchases. But yes, some are having a very hard time, a difficult time to just to get purchases and start that relationship and start looking for business and, clientele and stuff like that. So I'm used to the rate. This is something, it's nothing new to me. This is what I dealt 5 years ago when the rates were up at 4 and 5%.
Right.
But there's a difference when it comes to the purchase price, but this rate is just, it's like I always say, it's fixed for 30 years. You're good for 30 years. And there's always going to be an opportunity to modify your interest rate. So that's what we're going to offer.
It's funny. When you invest in the stock market, prices go up and go down, but you buy and you can only sell once, then you're cashed out. With a mortgage, you really get multiple chances. If you buy today and locked in, and rates today are about 5.4%. But if rates go up 2%, you're locked in if you keep that mortgage. And if rates go down, though, let's say to 4%, you refinance. And it goes up again to 6. Well, you got 4%. It goes back down to 3, you can refinance. So as long as it's moving, you really have a chance to profit quite a bit. And I think for buyers, this is a chance to get in when buyers are when people are scared. As long as it makes sense, that's the time to take advantage of every market, whether it be investing in property, investing in stocks, or buying a house.
Well, today was actually my first time in a year actually witnessing seller credit.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
that's interesting.
Yes.
We haven't seen that in a while.
Right.
Wow.
So I did a loan this morning. They'll be signing their docs. I'm sorry. They're going to sign docs tomorrow, but escrow already balanced. And unfortunately, this is for all listing agents, so please don't hate me.
Mhm.
But it's really important to do your due diligence on the HOA, find out if there are how to prove, because when you don't do those little details, we're surprised at the end. So in this situation, this scenario, the customer was willing to put 5% down, no problem. Comes to find out, the HOA is not compliant with HUD. And so we had to ask the customer to bring another 5% down. And luckily, the listing agent did admit that she knew about it and she forgot to mention it.
Oops.
And forgot to put it on the MLS.
Double oops.
So, yeah. So I was happy that she admit, right? We all make mistakes. So the buyer's agent asked, would you be open to give the client a credit because he's short $7,000?
And a year ago, we just would have said, no, next in line, you must step up and buy the property. But we wouldn't have had a smile on our face. We just would shove them aside and redone everything. Now, you got a buyer who wants to buy the house, you got to sharpen your pencil, right?
Right. And honestly, the listing agent said he was the only one who put an offer.
There you go.
So we're like, hey, work with us because we want to work with you guys. So it was the first time in a long time to see that once again, listing agent giving receiving seller's credit.
Look at smile on your face. As a professional, I've been in this business, I think longer than certainly Patricia's been alive, and you have, Rosie, Annabelle, long enough, longer than your kids for sure in your marriage. Been around quite a bit. And I think that as great as the last couple of years were, and it was great, I made a lot of money, sold a lot of houses, but then every agent sounds like they're a genius. And I was just on the phone today with a seller who got her license and she wanted to, sell her house on her own. And I said to her, look, I don't care. You want to sell on your own? Fine. The original plan was you wanted me to co-list it with you. I'm glad to do it. But here's the thing. Any jellyfish could have sold a house a year ago and you'd have got top dollar. Anybody would have sold it. Didn't matter. Yeah. And if that buyer didn't close, you just would be sold to another person, probably at a higher price. I said, today, you're catching a falling knife. You need somebody who's strong, who's going to keep that buyer when it's time to get their conditions waived, get those conditions waived, get them more clear to waive sign the contingency release so that they're locked into the deal, and make sure the loan's locked in or else they're going to suffer. Be on the lender, ride them, to get that done. This is where we as agents, good agents, show the distinction between being a professional and just being lucky. So I'm ready for this.
Yes, I'm ready for the new change, and it's happening. Luckily the appraisal came back at price. It usually comes under. So, I mean, there was a lot of changes, but I feel like this is a turning leaf in the situation. And now I'm starting to see where sellers are at buyers' mercies right now, and I haven't seen this in a while. So it was nice to witness that and just, to see what else we can offer for the future clients. And I keep telling everybody, yes, the rates are high, but it's not slowing down the market.
Right. Well, it's not stopping the market. It's
Mhm.
probably cooling it off a bit. I mean, at least to me, it seems like we have less offers. We do have more inventory coming in the market now in most areas, not all, but most areas. So it's definitely going from hyper fast to something less than it was. It's still a really healthy market. But now the kind of normal rules are coming back into play. And for agents who've never seen that, they're
Mhm.
falling apart. They're under a lot of stress right now. And that's why we need professionals like you, Rosie, to help us.
Yes, so let's hang in there because it's changing. So I'm holding on as tight as I can.
Yeah, I'm hanging in. It's 5:24 on a Wednesday night. I'm still here trying to help people buy houses, sell houses.
Hey,
Kevin Russell with a fancy
yeah.
background.
Yeah, I got to change this wacky thing. I do some neon art in my spare time, and it's a little disco-ish. So, my question for you guys is, I am so frustrated trying to buy a house in Southern California, and I'm going on 120 days to close 2 refis out of state. It's just been a joke between 2 different lenders trying to get cash out of refis, out of some rentals, and so I'm still proceeding towards the finish line and getting closer every day. And I'm thinking maybe I just need another 2 weeks, but sometimes I wonder if they'll ever even get me any money. The question I have for you is now that rates are up and things are cooling off, I'm hearing from one of the realtors I've been working with for over 6 months to say, hey, now is a good time because, the higher rates have definitely cooled things off. But I just feel like, man, these low rates really pumped prices, and there's been a lot of talk on nonstop demand, and there's all this demand. Well, where the heck did the demand come from? Did we all of a sudden gain like 10% in our population, or is it just people with a lot of cheap money floating around, like I'm trying to get, have put it to work on more rental property?
Well, I think I would say 3 things. One is the population has continued to increase. It's certainly in overall in California, our population is higher than it was. For all the people moving out, we have more people moving in from other countries primarily, less people moving from other states. So our population's gone up. We've added very little housing. We've added less than half of the new housing units of the people who have moved in here. So there's a supply demand issue. It's because so much of California doesn't want to allow building, and we're dense in the cities, and they don't want to build out in the, when I was younger in the industry, we were building Rancho Cucamonga and building Ontario and building Altaloma in the north. We're building Santa Clarita. We're not building as much out there, those new homes. So there's more people, a little, and not as much supply as there should be. And I think the third factor you mentioned is there's extra money. It's like playing Monopoly. If you've ever played Monopoly, certain people have different rules. Like every time you hit the Park Place, there's like another $500 in the middle. At some point, there's so much money that nobody can ever lose. That's kind of what's gone on here, except somebody will lose. And I'm not sure what that looks like. I think inflation, we all kind of lose a little bit by paying more for things. I know my daughter and son-in-law are scrambling to buy baby formula, right? And almost everything's gone up in price. Food's gone up in price. Gas has gone up in price. Housings go up as well. And so that's why I think, even if housing doesn't go up to keep up with inflation at 10 or 12%, it only goes up 5%. The key about housing is if you put 5 or 10% down or 20% down, you're leveraging it. That's why it's such a great inflation hedge. So you're right. I think the opportunity for you as a buyer is a year ago, I don't know about Patricia in particular or Annabelle or Rosie, but a typical buyer, a house you'd be making offers, there'd be 10 offers on a house for every one that was bought. And now that number's down to about 3 to 1.
Yes.
So, right. So those are kind of the average numbers overall in California. So I think that as a buyer, you'd be frustrated to go out and make 10 offers. Many people got tired and didn't make 10. They made 8 and quit. But today you can make 3 and find the house you want and not settle for one you don't want. A lot of people settle for bad floor plans, bad locations in a hot market. They bought the corner house. They really didn't want to be on a corner, the busy street. They didn't really want. Well, now once there's a little more inventory, you can choose from a couple. So I think the opportunity is, if you're smart, maximize your financing, get the right loan at the right time, the right way. You have a chance to get what you want rather than settle for what's available.
But I
Yeah.
think also it had to do with the rates. So people were beginning of this year were approved for $800,000, and I had to call all of my clients and change that pre-approval from 800,000 to 600,000.
Oops.
So- But you know what?
Yeah.
They're not gonna. You know what? I feel like they're not gonna be house poor. You know, they're gonna be rich, and when that rate comes down, you know, they're gonna just have this extra money coming their way.
There's something magical when you refinance and all of a sudden your house payment goes down by $200-300 a month, and all you've done is shuffle a bunch of paper. It's like free money. It's just crazy how rich you feel for that. And that caused people to feel rich, go out and buy and upgrade their house and do things like that.
I have a question. Kevin, are you a real estate agent?
No, I'm in the commercial land title and escrow.
Oh, okay.
And I'm seeing a barrage of refis still. I mean, one customer today delivered me, they've been doing 5 to 6 refis a day for the last 2-3 weeks. So there's still some banks that are just super, super hot on refis.
Right. Well, and I think I mean, I really believe that your representation, whoever's representing you on the purchase of the home in this market, in this climate, they have to be aggressive. They have to know how to submit offers. And I can tell you that I've picked up clients that were on the hunt for a house for like the last 6 months. And I went out with them, not even 30 days, and we were in escrow. I mean, it takes a special kind of agent to get a buyer into a property in this market.
Yeah, I would imagine. Especially, you know, if you're having to compete against cash offers, and it's just been ludicrous. And plus, you know, we're shopping in the 1.2, 1.4 range. And now we're having to adjust our sites by $300,000 or $400,000. Now there's nothing in the territory that we want.
Mhm.
So it's like, well, all right, we missed that boat. I mean, we went and bought an investment property, and that's why we took a gamble. We figured we'd buy something out of state and forego a house. But now I'm finding that the market out of state, even though it was a very hot market in Seattle, where I already have several properties, it couldn't have touched the gains that we've seen in Orange County with a population that's vacating the state. You know, they're publishing articles every couple of weeks that we're losing population.
Well,
And
we're not losing population net. There are more people moving out than moving in from states. But even Orange County's population is increasing. Now, there's international immigration from south of the border, from China, from Asia. But our overall population has gone up in California and Orange County and LA. Yeah, overall net total population is higher. It's the net migration number. That's why I think that I always do a video on every Monday on the real estate industry, because I think the news is misleading. It's true. More people move out of California than move into California from other states. But way more move here internationally, partially because we have an open border. Anybody can walk across the border. Used to be you had to file paperwork and wait for years and hire attorneys. I have clients who are attorneys in immigration who used to charge $10,000, $15,000 to get people citizens. Now they just walk across the border and apply. So that they're literally, we had 2 million people cross illegally last year.
Yes.
About a third into California. So our population has grown. There's not less people around. There's maybe less less people moving here from other states than move to other states from here. There's less Floridians moving to California than Californians moving to Florida. But there's definitely more people. There's no less.
yeah, I thought I read an article where we actually had a net migration out.
I don't believe so. I haven't
You
seen
don't
that statistic. I don't think that's true at all. The opposite is probably why we have homeless problems, because the rental market's filled up, the housing market's tight for houses. And so we're not adding any inventory, not building new houses. So we're really, that's why, it's so interesting. I'm involved with local politics. And I just asked, there's a guy running for city council. And I just said, okay, you're proud that we're a sanctuary city, we're open border city. And then you talk about homelessness. Well, where are the people supposed to live? If we're not building houses in LA, we're letting more people in LA. What do you think they're going to do? What is, I'm not making a value judgment. Just what's your plan? Tell me what the numbers are. Show me a piece of paper how that works. And the answer is it doesn't. We've got more people piling in the country than moving out. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying the math is what
It is what it is. Yeah.
I think what is true is there's more people coming into lower income stratus. 10 years ago, migration were wealthy people coming from China with a lot of money. I used to work in an office with Annabelle, and we'd have clients come in and buy houses to get citizenship. They'd buy $1 million house for all cash or half the money from some Chinese bank. We don't have as much of that today for political reasons, maybe, or legal reasons. We have more skewing at the lower income numbers. Okay. Any other questions, comments on buying property?
Anybody?
Rosie, I know did we know you're going to be here, or are you just a special treat that popped in tonight?
I just popped.
We had you here a couple weeks ago as a special guest. It's great to have you.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in and joining us.
Thank you.
Always welcome. U.S. Bank out of San Diego, habla español, but also speaks English real well and does loans all over the state. And you can use your local U.S. bank as a place to scan documents and make it convenient. Maybe get a cup of coffee or something while you're in the branch. So thanks for joining us, Rosie.
Thank
So now you
so-
better make sure there's coffee there.
No.
I used to work in a bank. I started this business in a savings and loan bank branch. So the
Mhm.
mentality when you're in a branch is different than when you work as a lender. I'm sure you're working at your home office or a mortgage office. That's like a regular, real estate office. But the bank branches, it's like you're going to your house and they want you to sit down and they have a candy for the kids and it's a whole different vibe. So, okay, Kevin, nice seeing you. Thanks for joining us. Any other questions? I don't see any. I think we've passed the half hour mark. So I think we're good. Patricia, anything you want to add in? Any special, let's see, we got a comment here. Happy Wednesday, all from UCSD alum. David Ty from UCSD. Okay, well, I don't know what UCSD, what their nickname is. Are they the Friars, I think, right? UCSD Friars. He's watching us live on YouTube. Thanks, David.
Oh, great.
Patricia, any last comments you want to make for us?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I know Kevin's gone, but when he was mentioning about the surging housing demand, I mean, the pandemic had a lot to do with that too. People were reevaluating their places at home, their space, combining their living space with other family members and maybe selling off another property. That's what happened with my last client that I, sold her house in Orange County. She was moving in with her daughter and she thought, well, I don't need this big house. I'm going to go live with my daughter. And so if anybody is thinking about making a move, let's talk about it and see how we can help you strategize your plan and get that into motion.
Outstanding. Oh, by the way, UCSD's nickname is the Tritons. Tritons. Annabelle, any last words of wisdom for us?
No, I think agents need to go out and find more listings. There's a shortage of inventory and there's sellers out there. So go
Yeah,
go
Gotta
get,
dig them out.
yep, go get listings.
I see Caitlin Chen. Welcome, Caitlin Chen, another great lender. It's like a lender hall of fame here. Caitlin's one of the favorites from the
Oh,
North
hey,
Orange County.
Caitlin.
Where's she from? Fulton or Bray or someplace?
Newport.
Newport. Caitlin, nice to see you on the call as well.
Yeah.
Well, look, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go out and get some listings. So I'm going to come back and solve the inventory problem myself. That's my goal.
Me too. Me too.
We're gonna be right there with you, Bill.
Get more
All
probates.
right.
We'll list them all up. I'm all for listing. I got one I'm working on in Whittier. Fun story. Hopefully I get that listed. I'll tell you guys a story on that one. Okay, well, look, we'll wrap up here. Thanks for joining us. We do this every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. We don't always get Rosie Delgado, but we're glad to have her from U.S. Bank. Caitlin Chen, glad to have you as well. Kevin, thanks for popping in. Annabelle Pacheco, special guest,
Thank
EXP
you.
and Diamond Bar branch manager. On behalf of my friend and colleague, Patricia Castillo, say hi, Patricia.
Yes, hi and bye, everybody. Thank
Super
you for
agent from
joining our
Downey,
call
California.
today.
We're here to help you. So call, text, email if we can help you and make this week your best week ever. Thank you.